What is up, guys? I am making a quick, get to the point video on how to get rid of sac spiders. I reside here in Michigan, beautiful Michigan. Beautiful Michigan. It is the beginning of July. Anyways, get to the point. How to get rid of sac spiders. Now, you'll see one or two inside your home. You'll see them up on top of the ceiling, usually always on the ceiling, and always in a little cocoon type deal. Or you'll see leftover cocoon, webbing, and you're like, oh, what was that? Sometimes that's where they lay their eggs. But at night is when they come out. They have a ton of fun at night. Now, I just moved into this new house, and I never imagined how many sac spiders would be in this mudroom alone. Now, I had a small leak prior, before I got rid of these sac spiders, but I fixed it. And then I had another leak a few months later, which was probably a few weeks ago. I fixed that too, so we're good to go. I had probably most likely a dozen sac spiders every night from February to April. And if I didn't do what I did, they'd still be here. I know it. And I also had it in the garage too. The sac spiders loved the garage and they loved the mudroom. So what they would do is they would climb the ceiling, they would climb the windows, and they'd be everywhere. So I remember back in the early 2000s when I was a kid, I was at my parents' house, we had a cable line feeding through from out of the basement. And out of that hole, there were little ants. And I'm like, what can I do? What can I do to get rid of these ants? Because this is where I sit, man. This is my spot where I watch TV, and play the Sega Saturn and the Xbox. So what I did was I went to the closest. Now, I've used other bug sprays too, and they usually tend not to work. So don't literally use spider killer. Don't use ant killer on ants, That's what they want you to do. They want you to spend the money. And there's always usually the same chemical or poison, whatever, inside these bug killers. Now, I watched a lot of videos on sac spiders, but I want to take things in my own hands. I tried vinegar, or at least my wife did, and that kind of worked. But of course, they're still coming. So I found one solution. You ready? Power raid, baby, but not just raid. As I explained before, you don't want to get spider killer for spiders, ant killer for ants. Just go for the wasp and hornet. Now, for some reason, the chemical in here, they don't like. Yeah. So, now this is what I bought when I got rid of all the sac spiders. And I'll show you what I did. I didn't know this was a quick shot one. And that uses up a lot. So I have a little project I'm going to be doing after this video. So what I did was I sprayed all along the edges of the mudroom. Sound effects. Did the ground too. All right. I also kind of did the outline of the windows. I also went outside too and did that. And then I went to the garage, did all four corners, all the way through, just like I did in the mudroom, inside the garage, and the four corners coming down. And the very next night, no sac spiders. And I'm talking about 8 to 12 spiders every night. I'd come out, suck them up in the vacuum, right? Come back in 3-4 hours later, it'd be probably 1-2 in the morning, and there'd be another 8 more spiders after I just sucked up another 8 to 12. So after that, after using my badass raid wasp and hornet killer, that did the trick. For 2 weeks, no spiders. I probably within 1 month had spotted probably one spider in the garage and 1 or 2 spiders that kind of snuck in somehow. I don't know how, but inside the mudroom. Now in the garage, probably have between 6 and maybe 8 spiders, but no spiders. Now a lot of people would say, well, it's just because, you know, the change of the season, that's why the spiders, they just, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Once I sprayed, they up and ran, and it was cold out. So let me tell you, it was still cold out, even after the 2 weeks, even into May, it was still cold out. So next time you want to get rid of sac spiders, your best option is Raid, Wasp, and Hornet. Now, I wouldn't go any other brand. I know there's another brand out there that's pretty popular, kind of like Coke and Pepsi. I'm not saying use that, but I'm just using a general example. So yeah, they work wonders. And as you can tell, I had a sac spider right there, but I didn't use Raid. I'm gonna make a video on something else I used besides Raid, which you probably see in the beginning of the video. But keep that in mind. I have kids too, and they're not affected. I kept everyone out of that room for about a day and a half. So I hope this helps. And if you have an infestation, don't hire an exterminator. Just go on and buy some Raid. I've not had any issues, and it's July, beginning of July, and I did this back in April. So, beginning of April. So, I hope this video helps. I'm coming out with a second video on another solution that you can actually dilute and use on other little bugs that are inside your homes. Because right now I used to have, sac spiders, and I'm wondering, I was thinking in my head, well, if they're not in the mud room anymore and they're not in the garage, they want to go somewhere, and they were in the basement, and then they started getting into the main house, the kitchen area, the living room, and I'm like, no. So again, I sprayed the Raid along the edges here where the doorway is, which is very important. I want to cover this because it's very important. And I also sprayed where the main door is along here and here, because that's where they would be too, right? These 4 corners and along here. Once they sense the poison, that chemical, their little sensors go off saying, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. And that's what happens. And it kills them right on the spot too, nonetheless, okay? And so yeah, you want to get that area. This house was built in 53, so it's a pretty old house. And then I got the basement too, which I'm having a couple of issues with, but I'm trying to resolve right now with other little buggies. Yeah, so definitely want to do that. I also sprayed up in the ceiling area in the basement, right where the vents are. Not the vents, the air conditioning system. So you want to try to get on the outside, around the wood area, kind of let the wood absorb that, and should, for a while, for a long time, solve the issue, because they're not going to want to come back. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and make another follow-up video on the second solution that I use. And it works wonders when it comes to killing right on the spot. And I'll get to that. So, thanks for watching, and I do hope that this video helps. I know we're getting into 10 minutes, and I'm trying to get exactly 10 minutes here, but yeah, definitely Wasp and Hornet. I don't know what it is, but like I said, there is a chemical in here that they do not like, that will kill on the spot. So, and of course, when you spray, I know certain insects, they breathe through their skin. When their skin is compromised with, say, dish soap, it kills them. They can't breathe anymore. But definitely try this. You know, the dish soap's for the garden, of course, but you know, a little concoction of, you know, diluted dish soap, water, and vinegar, or whatever it is. So that should keep the little critters away and the buggies away if you have a garden. So, and this right there, those were all weeds. Weeds. So I had to pull those last night, and it rained for like 3 days straight, so they were easy to pull, root and all. Why did I do that? Again, I'm going to explain in the next video. All right, let me know how it goes. Leave a comment.